Okay, so I have some books that are historical fiction right here. I have some books that are romance right here. I have some fantasy and some suspense. And I have some marriage and relationship. Hello and welcome back to Gracefield. I'm excited to be back with you guys for another video. So August is such a beautiful month. First of all, it's my birthday month. So 2 years ago, I started my Bookstagram, and I really didn't like share or post much. Honestly, I didn't even post everything. In fact, I went back and took a lot of stuff off of it, which I totally wish I didn't do. Like, why was I doing that? Anyway, and then this year, August, I started this booktube channel. So my birthday, Bookstagram, Booktube. And so I also went back to college this term. I shared it in my Booktube tag, newbie, about how I'm a mommy of 5 and how all the things that I do, but I shared it that I'm a college student. And so I just entered back into my junior year at Liberty, and I finished out my first semester this summer, ending this month in August, and I finished it out with a 4.0. So between the 4.0, back to college, 5 kids, all the things, and doing well, and my birthday, I decided I'm 35. I got a 4.0, which is a little bit higher than a 3.5 if you want to look at it that way. I'm going to get 35 books. So they're coming in. I will be upfront. I got most of these from Thrift Books and Book Outlet, and I tried to keep it minimum because your girl doesn't work. So I tried to keep these books under $5. So I, for some instances, got some of the cheaper books that were available, and you can tell because I've got like a little mark on the back, but I'll wipe them off and I'm going to keep it moving. So this first book is Redeeming Love. Can God's Love Save Anyone? California's Gold Country, 1850. A time when men sold their souls for a bag of gold and women sold their bodies for a place to sleep. Angel expects nothing from men but betrayal. Sold into prostitution as a child, she survives by keeping her hatred alive. And what she hates the most are the men who use her, leaving her empty and dead inside. Then she meets Michael Hosea, a man who seeks his father's heart in everything. Michael obeys God's calling to marry Angel and to love her unconditionally. Slowly, day by day, he defies Angel's every bitter expectation until, despite her resistance, her frozen heart begins to thaw. But with her unexpected softening comes overwhelming feelings of unworthiness and fear. And so Angel runs back to the darkness, away from her husband's pursuing love, terrified of the truth she can no longer deny. Her final healing must come from the one who loves her even more than Michael does, the one who will never let her go. Redeeming Love. I got Blood Lies. This is book 1 of the Red Wing Saga, and this was Chrissy's Purple Book Channel that recommended this. It says, there exists an eternal group of well-heeled but black-hearted men who have performed unspeakable rituals like these seen in Whitechapel over and over for many hundreds of years. It is a collective known only to those outside it as Red Wing. And that is from Elizabeth Stuart, the Duchess of Branningham. It says, Jack the Ripper's deed actually begins in 1879 when the torn, decapitated body of a beautiful woman and an unconscious girl were discovered in a Whitechapel by Detective Inspector Charles Sir Clare. Little does the detective know that his entire life is about to change. Who is he? What is he? And what he believes about the spiritual realm. All because of a little girl named Elizabeth and the devilish men who chased her, a group that called themselves Red Wing. This is a heavy book. But I'm excited about this. I'm excited to read it. It's the Red Wing Saga. And this book is called Last Night and Night Light. And I have to look up and see who recommended this. It was actually not like on a channel, but I think it was on Kristy's channel, the same one when she was sharing this Blood Lives, that some sweet lady commented and mentioned these books. And I was so happy just reading the comments, and I was just taking down my notes of all the things on my wish list, because this will probably be my major haul for the rest of the year, maybe next year too. So I thought it was good. So I put it on the list, and it's 2 books in one. So it says, Today, the world is a knowable end. No need to turn off the lights. When a crisis sweeps an entire high-tech planet back to the age before electricity, the Branningham family has life over death decisions to make. Will they hoard their possessions to survive or trust God to provide as they offer their resources to others? Their little community will stand or fall together, and trust doesn't come easy, particularly when one of them is a killer. This is going to be a good book. No electricity, no running water, no luxuries, no law, no turning back. With the country shaken to the core after the global crisis shuts down banks, businesses, and all electronics, the Bringingtons struggle to survive. The discovery of 4 children living alone in a filthy apartment, still in to stay alive, prompts them to stretch their already thin resources and take them into their home. The search for the children's mother uncovers the trail of desperation and mutter, and from the Brannings, a powerful new purpose that can transform their entire community and, above all, themselves. I'm in the homeschool room, and we just, I just gave myself a gel manicure. The bag's messing them up. Okay. So, we're in the homeschool room because we're on lunch break. And the mail lady literally came while I was trying to record another video. So I was like, you know what? I'm making this video. That's what we're going to do. So this is another one from this is another one from Thrift Books. And this one is called Walk a Straight Line, and it's by Michelle Lindo Rice. And I follow her on Instagram, so I wanted to support her. It says Colleen McGregor rededicated her life to God when she met and married Terrence Hayworth. However, their happily ever after will have to wait because she has some serious dragons to slay to sustain her marriage and keep her friendship with Gina Pierce intact. After 15 years of friendship, Colleen must now draw the line and stop telling Gina everything. What did God do to her friend? Gina finds it hard to deal with Colleen's newfound faith. She thinks Colleen has become self-righteous, subjecting Gina to her holy tirades whenever the mood strikes. When Gina begins dating one brother while simultaneously falling in love with another, boy, does she get an earful. Gina, however, is way too busy trying to sort her way through her own murky feelings to worry about her soul. Her heart wants what it wants. It says, Michelle Lindo Rice explores the complicated world of female friendships. Can a friendship survive when one friend becomes saved? I think that's good. This is probably one of those times where I probably would have wanted to get it upgraded, but it's okay. It's fine. I could buy them cheaper and get a few more, or pay a little bit more and get a little bit less. So next up is Shatana Havoc, Not a Word. And this book is one of my friends, Shalise. She saw it bust her home, or Side of Busted Living for her main channel, but her book channel is, I think, Turn Another Page. And so she is actually responsible for me being on YouTube. Like, she did encourage me. But her mother is this author. This is her mother's book, Not a Word. And I thought that it sounded good, so I wanted to get it. It says, I'm saying that I'm not going to trash someone else's reputation in a futile attempt to restore mine. Everyone would believe her. Why shouldn't they? It's probably the only lie she's ever told in her life. Just happens to be the lie that ruined mine. It says, never say a word in his defense. Not a word. That right there proves his guilt. He can't even make up a lie. But Sheriff Kilgore says that he couldn't do anything without you pressing charges. Wanda leaned closer, a fresh burst of grotesque air assaulting Savannah. Why didn't you? Isn't that taking the whole turning of the cheek a little far? Words have power and a solid reputation behind those words, and they have the power to destroy. It began with a lie. Mark's life changed with a false accusation. Unaware of the carnage she left behind when she moved from Brant's Corner, Savannah Foster is back, and when Mark sees her at church with a boy, he wants answers. For 8 years, he's lived under the cloud of her accusations without defending himself. He kept her secret. He endured the shame and the life-altering consequences. Savannah can set the record straight. Mark says no. The ultimate question remains, what's best for Rory? So, and she has another one that I really want to read. It was a really good one. So next up, I have a couple more by Michelle Lindo Rice. This one says, Tell Me Lies, Nothing But the Truth Series Book 1. And I have Nothing But the Truth Series Book 2. And it says, A Broken Heart. When Sydney Richardson meets Pastor Noah, It was practically love at first sight. Sydney has battled so much deception in her personal life and in her work as an attorney. She is glad to have the perfect man she can depend on. But her Prince Charming has some secrets that are worse than Sydney could have ever imagined. What will she do when Noah's past comes to light? The broken truth. Pastor Noah Charleston has come a long way since his childhood youth. The respected man of God's long buried past emerges from the form of blackmail and threats. Noah not only fears for his safety, but also for his newfound love. Will he take a chance on the truth before it's too late? A broken trust. Newly converted Christian Belinda Santiago harbors a secret that could end her friendship with Sydney. She's in love with Lance Forbes, Sydney's ex-fiance. When Belinda and Lance's relationship is exposed, she might have to choose between her man and her best friend. And broken man. Lance Forbes returns to Port Charlotte to make things right with Sydney, but his feelings for Belinda are in the way. Lance knows for him to become a do-right man, he must face his childhood pain. Will Lance get his act together and take a second chance on love, or will he run away again? So it just says that this fiction is around the 4 F's: faith, friendship, family, and forgiveness. And I think that this book looks like it's going to be really good. And so let's follow it up. Nothing but the truth. It says Sydney and Noah Charleston are joyful that they're about to become parents, but a scary possibility threatens to shake up their marriage, especially when Sydney learns Noah has kept even more lies from him. Will she be able to forgive him this time? Monica Rowley has a dangerous love for Lance Forbes, which is why she's staying away from him. But when he's offered a large sum of cash, Monica returns to town to rekindle her romance. Will she get back her man? Belinda Santiago and Lance Forbes are deep into wedding preparations while struggling to remain celibate. When Lance's old flame stirs up mischief, will their love survive? Portia Hendricks has a crush on the new office Heidi, Nathaniel Lyons. The problem is Nathaniel has his eyes on Sydney. Worse yet, Sydney seems flattered by his charms. Will she be able to keep her best friend out of trouble? So this is the second book of the series, and I'm excited to read these. It sounds good. I have a few more here. So again, I watched a lot of these booktubers and just took notes of all the things that I liked, that I wanted. And the rest of them I couldn't get. I just put on my wish list. But this one is by Michelle Lindo Rice as well. I got a few of her books. And this is in the Heart series, but it says My Soul Then Sings. And I think this is the second one because I think Sing a New Song is the first one. And it's such a beautiful cover. But it says, if you found out you were dying, would you suddenly confess all of your past sins? When former chart topper Tiffany Knightley learns she's dying from cancer, she leaves behind her plush California lifestyle to return to New York with Carly, her reluctant teenage daughter. She hasn't simply gone home to die, though. She has another mission. She desperately wishes she could leave her past in the past, but in order to secure her daughter's future, she must tear open past wounds. Life isn't always easy for Tiffany with a stepfather who abused her and a mother who didn't believe her. She acted out by becoming promiscuous. 15 years later, she's back to reveal to her ex-husband that he might not be Carly's biological father. In fact, there are 4 men who could have fathered Carly, 4 that she's willing to acknowledge anyway. As Tiffany reveals the truth and searches for Carly's father, she reconnects with old friends and old lovers. Some reunions are happy, but some innocent lives are torn apart, leaving Tiffany to wonder if she's doing is the right thing. But through it all, she will have to learn to rely on the healing power of God's unfathomed love. And this one says, is there a sin not worth confessing? Ryan Oakes is keeping a huge secret, one that threatens his relationship with his wife and son. As a new convert, his conscience probes him, telling him the truth, but Ryan decides to employ every trick in the book to keep from confessing. When his marriage begins to suffer, he is forced to come clean, but at what cost? Patricia Oakes is troubled by her husband's unusual interest in Carly Knight. She is reminded that the only time Ryan cheated on her is with Tiffany, Carly's mother. While she grapples with her fears, she can't help but be flattered by Timothy Newhouse, a fellow surgeon in an especially difficult case. Will she seek solace in another man's arms? Whew. Can a male and a female be truly platonic? Carly Knight's boyfriend, Jamal Weathers, is pressuring her to have relationships, and Carly isn't trying to displease God. On top of that, beautiful reviews of her debut song sites are as sweet and unexperienced. Luckily, her best friend Brian Oakes has the perfect suggestion to help her find her edge. Against everyone's advice, Carly and Brian begin an adventure which draws them close. Will she uphold the commitment she made to God? Brian Oakes is enjoying college life, in particular college girls. When Carly discovers his deepest secret, he realizes he feels more for her than just friendship. Will Brian transform his ways and grab his chance at true love? Now, I have a few more books that are different genres. So hold on. This one says, My Steps Are Ordered. It says, what happens when your husband finds out you're in love with his brother? Team Keith, Team Michael, how about Team God? Gina Ward has it all, a husband, a child, and all the finer things life has to offer. But she doesn't see herself as one of the less fortunate ones who needs God. But what happens when her only son, Trey, falls ill? Will she rely on the one who holds the world in his hands? Keith Ward is a respected attorney, but he cannot shake his inappropriate feelings for his brother's wife. When his nephew falls ill, Keith knows he has to drop everything to be by her side. Will he finally find healing for his broken heart? Michael Ward is living a dream life as he knows that it will change drastically when his son falls ill. Everything that he thinks is true will be brought into question. What will he do when he realizes he is living one big lie? Okay, so I've got a lot of books to talk about in this. Oh, I'm so happy. Whew. Okay, I don't even know where to go. So I have I have Cry of the Raven, I have Flight of the Raven, and Mark of the Raven. Mark, Cry, and Flight of the Raven. And these are all fantasy books, and these are from Morgan L. Blucy. I know a lot of you guys have heard of these and read these, but I have not, so I wanted to go ahead and get these on here. Is Lady Selene the heir to the House of Ravenwood and the secret family gift of dreamwalking. As a dreamwalker, she can enter a person's dream and manipulate their greatest fears or desires. Soon after the giving, however, Selene discovers that the Ravenwood women have been secretly using their gift to gather information or to assassinate those responsible for the fall of the House of Ravenwood to the Dominion Empire hundreds of years ago. As she becomes more entrenched in Ravenwood's dark past, Selene longs to find out the true reason behind her family's gift, believing that its initial intent could not have been for such an evil purpose. But she is torn about upholding her family's legacy, a legacy that supports her people. Selene's dilemma comes to head when she's tasked with assassinating the one man who can bring peace to the nations, but who is also prophesied to bring the one downfall of her own house. One path holds glory and power and will solidify her position as Lady of Ravenwood. The other path holds shame and likely death. Which will she choose? Which is she willing to pay the price for? The path chosen. This one is Flight of the Raven. Selene Ravenwood, once the heir to the House of Ravenwood, is now in exile. On the run and free of her family's destiny, Selene hopes to find the real reason her family was given the gift of dreamwalking. But first she must adapt to her new role as the wife of Lord Damian Maris, the man she was originally assigned to kill. Wow. While adjusting to her marriage in the home in the north, her power over dreams began to grow. As the strongest dream marker to exist in ages, her expanding power attracts not only nightmares, but the attention of Dark Lady herself. With the war looming on the horizon and Wicked being after her as a gift, Selene is faced with a choice: accept the Dark Lady's offer or search out the one who gave her the gift of dreamwalking. One path offers power, the other freedom. The time is running out, and if she doesn't choose soon, her decision will be chosen for her. This Cry of the Raven. It says, Lady Selene Ravenwood has come into her full power as a dreamwalker, a power greater than any in history. She embraces her new role as a night watcher, able to intercede for her people in the dream world, but the dark shadow of war draws even closer. Working together, the great house has come up with a plan to secure the borders from approaching Dominia Empire, but dissension, conflict, and suspicion threatens to destroy their treacherous treaty. As the Empire burns the path across their lands, Damian Maris starts to lose his ability to raise the waters, leveling the lands vulnerable to Empire's attacks. The only one who can help the great house unify and restore her husband's power is Selene, but it will require that she venture into the dream world to confront the enemies of her past who will do anything to stop her power. Will it be enough, or will both worlds fall under the Empire's might? So these three are fantasy, and I'm going to sit these here for a second because next up I have another fantasy here. This is a fantasy fiction, and this one is The Skin Map. Chrissy. Chrissy recommended this one too. It says Kit Livingston's great-grandfather appeared to him in a desert alley along with a tremendous storm, he reveals an unbelievable story that the lie lines throughout. Britain are not merely the stuff of legends or the weekend hobby of decluttered cranks, but pathways to other world. To those who know how to use them, they grant the ability to travel the multi-layered universe of which we ordinarily inhabit only a tiny part. One explorer knew more than that part. Braving every danger, he toured both time and space on a voyage of heroic discovery. Even on his guard and fearfulness of becoming lost in the cosmos, he developed an intricate code, a road map of symbols that he tattooed onto his own body. The skin map has since been lost in time. Now the race is on to recover all the pieces and discover its secrets. But the skin map itself is not the ultimate goal. It's merely the beginning of a vast and marvelous quest for a prize beyond imagining. So that's another fantasy. So those are my fantasy books. So next up, I have something that it says fiction just general, but I have The Harbinger 1 and 2. And this book says there exists an ancient mystery that holds a secret to Americans' future. That this mystery is behind everything from 9/11 to the collapse of global economy. That God is now sending a prophetic message on which American future hangs. Before it ends as a nation, there appeared in ancient Israel a series of specific omens and signs warning of destruction. Since the same 9 harbingers are now manifesting in America with profound ramifications for Americans' future and end-time prophecy, hidden in the ancient biblical verses from the book of Isaiah. Sidebar, my sons, it's Elisha, Isaiah. The mysteries revealed in a harbinger are so precise that they foretell recent American events to the exact days. The 3,000-year-old mystery that revealed the exact date of the stock market collapse of 2008, the ancient prophecy that was proclaimed from the floor of the U.S. Senate that then came true, and more. These revelations are so specific that even the most hardened skeptic will find it hard to put down. Though it sounds like a plot of Hollywood thriller, it's real. So it says, written in a riveting style, The Harbinger opens with the appearance of a man burned with a series of messages he has received in the form of 9 seals. Each seal unveils a prophetic mystery concerning America and its future and takes you on an amazing journey that changes the way that you see the world and your life forever. And then this one is 2, and it says, is the shaking that comes upon the world a sign, a judgment, or a warning of things to come? Could the global pandemic, 9/11, the final collapse, and other shakenings be the joint together as part of a ancient mystery? Is that ancient mystery determine the events in our time? Does it reveal the secrets of our future? And what does it reveal about judgment and how much time is actually left? The Harbinger causes a worldwide stare. The Harbinger 2 goes even further and reveals what cannot be revealed until now. Discovering the signs and manifestations that have appeared in America and the world up to this very moment and what they revealed about the future. Unlock the mysteries of the gates, the book of days, the image, the judgment tree, the children of the ruins, the shakeness, the plague, the mystery ship, the Western Terrence, and the day of the watchman, and so much more. And learn the keys, the hope, and the answer. You will never see the same world the same way again. Prepare to be blown away. So that is another one like that. Next up, I have another Peretti. If you guys saw my August TBRs, you saw I had on there This Present Darkness. And so this book is a follow-up, and this is Pierce in the Darkness. It all begins at Beacon's Corner, a tiny farming community far of the interstate. An attempted murder, a case of a mistaken, or is it a cover-up, identity, in a ruthless lawsuit against a struggling Christian school. Sally Beth Rowe, a long loner, a burnout, a kind of leftover hippie, finds herself caught in the middle of these bizarre events, fleeing for her life while trying to recall her dark past. Across a vast panorama of heart-stopping action, Sally Rowe's journey is a penetrating portrayal of our times, the reflection of our wanderings, and a vivid reminder of the redemptive power of the cross. And I also have 2 books by Ted Decker, one by him in isolation, and one with him with Toka Lee. So I'm going to start with Black. My son's excited about reading this one. It says, fleeing assassins through the deserted alleyways. Thomas Turner narrowly escapes to the roof of a building. Then a silent bullet from the night clips his head and his world goes black. From the blackness comes an amazing reality of another world where evil is contained. A world where Thomas Hunter is in love with a beautiful woman, but he remembers the dream of being chased through an alleyway as he reaches to touch the blood on his head. Where does the dream end and reality begin? Every time he falls asleep in one world, he awakens in the other. Yet in both, catastrophe, disaster, all wait for him, and it may even be caused by him. Some say the world hangs in the balance of every choice we make. Now the fate of the two worlds hang in the balance of one man's choices. And this one is Forbidden. It says, one last chance for humanity. It says, many years have passed since civilizations brushed with the apocalypse. The world's greatest threats have all been silenced. There is no anger, no hatred, no war. There's only perfect peace and fear. But a terrible secret has been closely guarded for centuries. Every single soul walking the earth though an appearance totally normal, is actually dead. Long ago, genetically stripped of true humanity. Fleeing pursuit with only moments to live, a young man named Ram stumbles in possession of a vial of blood and a piece of cryptic writing. When consumed, the blood will bring him back to life again. When decoded, the message will lead him on a perilous journey that will require him to abandon everything he's ever known and awaken humanity to the transforming power of true life and love. But the blood will also resurrect hatred, ambition, and greed, setting in a terrifying Midville future where grim pageantry masks death. This tale of dark desires and staggering stakes peels back the layers of the heart of all who will dare take the ride. So next up, I have some historical fiction, some biblical fiction, which are my absolute favorites. But I want to first go ahead and talk about marriage. This genre is devotional, Christian life, and relationship, love, and marriage. These books were suggested by someone as well. I saw it on her videos. She just talked about how amazing they were. And so I was like, oh yeah, I want to get this. I'm all about marriage. I ultimately want to be a marriage and family therapist. That's why I am doing all this hard work so your girl can finish up her degree. So this one is the book, and this one is the devotions. So the book says, your marriage is more than a sacred covenant with another person. It's a spiritual discipline designed to help you know God better, trust him more fully, and love more deeply. Scores of books have been written that offer guidance for building the marriage of your dreams. But what if God's primary intent for your marriage isn't to make you happy but holy? We can just stop right there. And what if your relationship isn't much about you and your spouse as it is about you and God? Everything about your marriage, everything is filled with prophetic potential, with the capacity for discovering and revealing Christ's character. The respect you accord your partner, the forgiveness you humbly seek and graciously extend, the ecstasy, awe, and sheer fun of lovemaking, the history you and your spouse built with one another, and these and other facts of your marriage. Sacred marriage uncovers the mysteries of God's overarching purpose. This book very well may alter the contours of your marriage. It will most certainly change you, because whether it's delightful or difficult, your marriage can become a doorway to a closer walk with God and to a spiritual integrity that, like salt, seasons the world all around you with the savor of Christ. I can't wait for that. What if God designed marriage to make us holy more than make us happy? By popular demand, the author of Sacred Marriage returns to the topic of how God uses marriage to expand our souls and make us holy. With all new material, Devotions for a Sacred Marriage explores how God can reveal himself to you through your marriage and help you grow close to him as well as your spouse. 52 devotions encourage you to build your marriage around God's priorities. From learning to live with the fellow sinner to the process of two becoming one, to sharing our lives as brothers and sisters in Christ, Devotions for a Sacred Marriage challenges couples to embrace the profound and soul-searching reality of the Christian marriage. So, I know it's really long. Don't leave yet. I have some more. I am going to overview what I've got, and then I'm going to start reading the backs of these two. So I still have a few more left to go, but I am almost done. This Damascus Way. The fleeting church is being shattered by persecution. superheaded by a fanatical young Pharisee, who does not realize he is helping to spread the truth until the ends of the earth. Young Julia has everything money can buy, yet she and her Hebrew mother are less than second-class citizens. When Julia discovers her secret that her Greek father has kept all these years, she's devastated. Her future is clouded with uncertainty. Jacob, Abigail's brother, is attempting to find his own place amongst the relievers. Does it mean trading away the elixation and adventure of his current profession as a caravan guard, hired to protect a wealthy merchant's caravan on a secretive frankincense trail? Jacob also reluctantly takes on the perilous responsibility of passing messages between the communities of believers dispersed across the land. He is alarmed to discover that Julia is also a courier. Can they put their initial mistrust aside to accomplish their mission? So the next three are by Tony Shallow, and they are Returning Home. It's Returning Home, Grace Restored, and Finally Accepted. And so it says, Jo Ellen Baker is shocked to find out that the boy who teased her mercilessly through high school has returned to their hometown in Freedom Lake, and he's missing a leg. When his mother asks her to renovate their carriage house to give him a place to gain his independence back, she wants to say no. But one look at him brings a rush of forgotten feelings. Evan Carter cannot believe he has to return home and live with his parents. Every hope and dream he's ever had dissipates when a car crash costs him his leg. Stuck in a wheelchair, he's forced to re-examine his relationship with God and the local carpenter, Jo Ellen Baker. Will renovating his home open the door for a mended relationship, or are some wounds just too deep to heal from? And Tony Shallow, is my favorite. She's my second favorite author. I love her In Search of a Prince, and now she has another one that's about to come out. But this one says, Michael Thomas has it all, beautiful and successful. She's just opening her own law firm in Freedom Lake. What more could she want? When her old flame rolls back into Freedom Lake, she's intent on ignoring him. But how can she give the widower and his precious twin girls the cold shoulder? Still reeling from the death of his wife, Guy Pearce returns to Freedom Lake to take over as town sheriff and raise his twin daughters alone. Yet life keeps throwing Michelle in his path, and sparks of interest begin to rise. Will old secrets tell them apart again, or can they find their faith to let God's grace restore what has been broken? And I also read her book, Redeeming Love, and that was really good as well. There's only one thing Chloe Smith has ever wanted, a family. Yet the DNA results she's receiving has thrown her life a tailspin. Her utmost desire has ended up being the catalyst for shaking her faith. She doesn't even know who she is anymore. She's certainly too messed up for a long-time crush to give her more than a second glance. Darryl Jones is struggling between his past and the grace God so freely offers. His sins feels too big for him to handle, let alone expect the woman of his dreams to accept. Chloe is the only woman he's ever wanted, and he doesn't deserve. As they form a tentative relationship and examine their faith, Chloe and Darryl ache to know they are finally accepted and fully loved. Jewel of the Nile. I just finished this book. Such a great book. Oh. Tessa is my girl. I love everything that she does. Whispered secrets about her parents' past take on a new urgency for Charlene as she pays one last visit to the land or her forefathers, the ancient kingdom of Kush. Raised as an orphan by her aunt, Charlene has only been told a few pieces of her parents' tragic love story. Her beautiful dark skin is proof that her father was Kushite, but she knows nothing else. While visiting her grandfather, Charlene overhears that her father is still alive, and discovering his identity has become her obsession. Both her grandfather and the queen forbid her quest. However, when her only clues lead to a room, Charlene sneaks into the ships of a merchant trusted by friends. Theo is shocked to discover a stowaway on board his vessel, but drawn in by Charlene's story, he feels honor-bound to see her safely to shore, especially when it appears someone may be willing to kill for the truth she seeks. In this transformative tale of historical fiction, best-selling author Tessa Afshar brings to life the Kingdom of Kush and the Roman Empire, reintroducing readers to a fascinating first-century story filled with gripping adventure, touching romance, and a host of lovable characters. This back does not do this book justice. It is such an amazing book. Like, it seriously is. The Centurion's Wife. I read this with an audiobook. Such a good book. Oh, I love it. So I picked up Hidden Flame. So I just wanted to have this hard copy. It says, when the family's wealth and power are lost forever, Leah is sent to Puncture's palace in hopes that he might arrange a strategic marriage. But despite her betrothed's striking countenance and position, Leah's deems life as a centurion's wife a fate worse than death. Head of the garrison near Galilee, Alban, his ambitions that could one day see him at the seat of power in Rome itself, eager to prove himself, he takes on the assignment of a lifetime, one that will put his career, his beliefs, and very life at risk. But when the death, a missing body of an obscure rabbi compel Leah and Alban to search for answers, what they discover changes everything. Okay, this next book is Hidden Flame. It says, in first century Judea, the followers of the way have emerged into a vibrant, growing community that cannot be ignored. Jerusalem is in turmoil at the religious leaders on one side and their Roman rulers on the other conspire to stamp out the fledgling church. And Abigail, who thought she's finally found home and safety, is caught between opposing forces. Two suitors desired the lovely Abigail's hand in marriage. Ezra, a successful Hebrew merchant and widower with important connections among the Sanhedrin, is looking for a mother for his children. The Roman soldier Lennox is fascinated by her winsome charm and could possibly offer the sanctuary, maybe even love for which she yearns. But her heart has been captured by neither of these. Will her faith and courage survive a heartbreak beyond comprehension? As the followers face a gathering storm of persecution they could have never foreseen. In the Fields of Grace, another Tessa Afshar. Love resurrected from the lifeless dreams happened in the arms of a loving God. Without wealth or family, the widow Ruth left her people and followed Naomi, her beloved Hebrew mother-in-law, to rebuild Naomi's home in Israel. Provisions gone and starvation at the door, Ruth used all that she had left, a strong back and a willing heart, to gain grain in a field abandoned after the harvest. Tormented by others, Ruth is shocked to find the owner of the field watching her, talking to her, bringing food to her and Naomi. Boaz tells himself his kindness towards Ruth is repayment for the love she has shown to his cousin Naomi. But his heart knows better. Pearl in the Sand! I read this book. I love this book. Oh, she became like my favorite at that moment. Like I've said, if you guys watch my new Beat Book Tag video, the first video I think I made or whatever, I talked about Tessa and like how I'm just kind of really new to biblical fiction. But since I found it, I've fallen in love with it, and it's the best thing ever. And as you can see, I've got like 10 of the books. I've got 2, 4, 6. Yeah, I've got a lot of books. I just love them. So it says this is 10th anniversary edition of Pearl in the Sand. It's included new features that will invite you into the intriguing story of Rahab's journey from a lowly outcast to a redeeming child of God. Can a Canaanite Zana, who's made her living by enticing men, be a fitting wife for a leader of Israel? Rahab's home is built into a wall that fortifies and protects the city of Jericho. However, other walls surround her too, walls of fear, rejection, unworthiness. Years of pain and betrayal have wounded Rahab's heart. She wonders if her dreams of experiencing true love will ever come. A woman with a wrecked past, a man of success, of faith, of pride, a union only God would conceive. Through the heartaches of the stormy relationship, Rahab and Simone learns the true source of each other's worth and finding healing in God. I have a book that is criminal justice and current affairs. And it says, once in a while, a book comes along that changes the way we see the world and helps us fuel a nationwide social movement. The New Jim Crow is such a book. Praised by Harvard Law professor Lania Gillier as brave and bold, this book directly challenges the notion that the election of Barack Obama signals a new era of colorblindness. With dazzling candor, legal scholar Michelle Alexander argues that we have not ended race caste in America, we have merely redesigned it. By targeting Black men through the war on drugs and decimating communities of color, the U.S. criminal justice system functions as a contemporary system of radical control. Regulating millions to a permanent second-class status, even if it formally adheres to the principle of colorblindness. In the words of Benjamin Todd Jellis, president and CEO of the NAACP, this book is still a call to action. Called stunning by Pulitzer Prize-winning historian David Levering Lewis, Invaluable by the Daily Covis, Explosive by Kirkus, and Profoundly Necessary by Mimi Harold. This updated and revised paperback edition, now with a foreword by Cornel West, is a must-read for all people of conscience. Okay, so I just want to say thank you for sticking with me. I know that was a lot of books. That was a lot of time. This is a long video, but I appreciate it. You know, it was so hard to get those A's. It was so hard to finish school. And then I'm just so thankful for another year of life. And so I thought, what better way to celebrate than with books? And so, I probably won't be having any more hauls for the rest of this year or the rest of next year, but that's okay because what I have, I'm super excited about, and I know that I'm absolutely gonna love, and I cannot wait to share with you guys my thoughts and let you know how the reading is going. And I'll be back with some more videos and show you what's currently on my shelf and maybe even let you see me put this away. And I just appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm a newbie here. So I just appreciate the love and support. And until the next video, read another book and blessings.